Now, you know some of y'all funny. Some of y'all funny. As you always hear me say, hold on a second. I'm always amused when I get, wait, let me turn on my desktop computer. I'm always amused when I get compliments from other men. And speaking of that, it's funny, ever since I was young, if you notice, that's one difference between men and women as a group. Women will compliment another woman without hesitation. I've rarely been around a woman who was hesitant to compliment another woman. Like, if a woman sees another woman that she thinks is beautiful, she'll say, oh my God, that woman's so beautiful. Oh, that woman is so sexy. Oh my God, look at that great body that woman has. Oh my God, she is just absolutely gorgeous. So women are more secure in that regard when it comes to complimenting another woman, particularly as it relates to their physical appearance. But men, bless their hearts, men always got it. Most men, particularly young guys, they use this preface when they want to give you a compliment, something particularly related to your physical appearance. It's usually no homo. That cracks me up, man. Like 9 out of every 10 compliments I usually get from other men about something related to my physical appearance, guys will always say, hey man, like no homo, but blah, blah, blah. Hey, Alan, no homo, but blah, blah. Man, that just cracks me. Like, I get that a lot in regards to my Ooh Say It Again audiobook. Because as you know, in my Ooh Say It Again audiobook, I have these 6 verbal seduction stories that, if I say so myself, are pretty arousing. And I've had quite a few guys write me emails. They say, hey man, Alan, man, like, no homo, I ain't homosexual, but damn, man, your talk dirty skills are so good, man, that, man, I be jacking off to your verbal seduction stories, man. I be jacking off to that shit. Yeah. Matter of fact, there was one time I did a Blog Talk Radio episode. And I had, it was me and 2 women, and I had one of the women telling the other woman to play with her pussy, and she started playing with her pussy. It was live. This was not pre-recorded. This was live. And a lot of guys in the chat room was like, damn, man, Alan, no homo, man, but this shit got my dick hard, man. No homo, man, but this shit got my dick hard, man. Like, I remember I had an ex-roommate of mine. He used to eavesdrop sometimes on me having phone sex when we lived together in Los Angeles. He would always say, he'd be like, hey, man, no homo, man, but, man, you got really good talk dirty skills, man. That shit be getting my dick hard, man. But anyway, just recently, a guy wrote in my comment section, he said, Alan, I saw the picture of your 26-year-old self. Actually, technically, I wasn't 26-year-old. I was 27 at the time of that picture, I believe. I think I was 27. But he said, no homo, man. But man, you look like a sex symbol movie star, man. I think that's why you got laid a lot. I don't think it was because of Mole 1. You like look like a sex symbol marquee movie star, man. You had like the movie star looks, man. I think that's why you and then 2 or 3 days ago, I had a guy write me a compliment, and he said, Alan, no homo. But he said, you look good for 56. He said, man, you don't really have no gray hair. Well, you must not be looking at my chin. My chin is damn near 3/4 gray. Yeah, the hair on my chin, and if I was to grow a beard, it would probably be 2/3 or 3/4 gray. Now, on my head, no, I don't really have much gray hair. I would say only at best, maybe like 3 to 5% of my hair on my head is gray. My mustache is probably about 1/4 to 1/3 gray. But yeah, on my head, that's where I have the least gray hair. And that's part of what makes me look younger, is because I really don't have gray hair on my head. Anyway, now I don't know how many people do Twitter. I've even lost interest in it. I don't do Twitter as much as I used to, like, say, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I'm only on Twitter occasionally. But when I do go on Twitter, I always pay attention to what's trending. Usually it's a person like a celebrity, or if not a specific person that's trending, it might be an issue like, presidential election or NBA finals might be trending, or the name of a TV show or the name of a movie like Avengers Endgame might be trending. But sometimes they have these little hashtag trends that deal with just lifestyle-related activities. They have these hashtag trends. And one of the trends today was reasons for being single. No, reasons to stay single. Reasons to stay single. And I don't know. I want to say I posted some about 3, almost 4 hours ago about reasons to stay single. And here's what I would generally say. I'll start off with the men. This relates actually to my topic yesterday, particularly more so my Patreon exclusive portion than the free portion. But here are the number one times I strongly feel that a man is going to be content with being single and unattached for an indefinite period of time. Single and unattached for an indefinite period of time. Number one is when a man really has no desire to start a family or raise any children. When a man has no real desire to start a family or raise any children, he's going to be content with being single indefinitely. That's half the reason why I've been single I've been technically single, for about 9 years. Yeah, last time I was in what I would call like a real serious relationship. A real, long-term, emotionally profound, what most people call a serious relationship, was summer 2010. And I think a lot of people have been following for a while know who that is. But, yeah, that was the last time I was in a real serious. Ever since then, I've just been fucking. I've been fucking. I've had some short-term casual lovers, some long-term casual lovers, but all of them were pretty much casual lovers. I ain't had no real, what I would call serious companion since, matter of fact, it's been almost 9 years to the day because we broke up the end of June. Yeah, we broke up the end of June. My last real serious companion, we broke up the end of June in 2010, which was 9 years ago. But yeah, man, so that's number one. When a man's going to be content with being single indefinitely is when he really has, because yeah, man, I ain't really met a woman that I wanted to have children with. I've always said to my clients and followers, the day you hear about me getting engaged and getting married is the day I've met a woman that I want to have children with. And that's just the honest truth. That's the only reason I would get married. That's like literally like 90% of the reason why I would get married is for the sake of having children. That's why, unfortunately, I would probably never marry a woman that's close to my age. Like a woman who's roughly 40 years of age or older and definitely 45 years of age or older. 99.9% chance I would never marry a woman that age because she can't give me no children. That's the only reason I would really get married is for the sake of children. For the sake of female companionship, female companionship only, I would never get married. Ever. I would never get married. So yeah, that's number one, that a man is going to be content with being single indefinitely is when he has really no strong desire to start a family or raise children. Number two, when a man already currently has access to at least one woman's sexual companionship on a regular or at least semi-regular basis. If a man is basically being sexually satisfied by at least one woman, he's not going to feel any strong desire to be in a relationship. He's not going to, I'm seeing notifications if you see me looking distracted. Yeah, if a man is having his sexual needs and urges taken care of, he ain't going to feel no need to get into no relationship, no long-term relationship. And if I had that on one more, I don't think I mentioned this on Twitter, but one more would be if a man just really has no strong desire to spend time with women non-sexually in addition to sexually. That's definitely, man, that's Alan Roger Currie to the T. And again, most of my long-term followers know that. Like my brother back in 2006, he called that my simultaneous strength and weakness. He called that a simultaneous strength and weakness of mine. Yeah, I used to mention that a lot when I'm on my Blog Talk Radio show, and I probably mentioned it a few times here on YouTube, man. Dude, I can go like the next 10 years, and I'm not even exaggerating. I could go the next 10 years without spending time with a woman in a non-physical, non-sexual manner. Like it's some women I know, that tends to raise their eyebrows. A lot of women I know will always ask me, Alan, surely you've had at least a handful of girlfriends that you missed their non-sexual companionship in addition to their sexual companionship. I always say, no, I don't. And that's the truth. With all due respect to all my former lovers and former girlfriends and companions, I can't name one former lover, companion, or girlfriend of mine that I found myself sitting in a chair or sitting on the couch reminiscing on the time we spent together non-sexually. Sexually, yes. I can name quite a few women that to one degree or another I find myself saying, damn, I miss her. I miss her. I miss fucking her. I miss being with her sexually. But non-sexually? Matter of fact, I made one of my ex-girlfriends cry. We were talking on the phone, man. I was talking to an ex-girlfriend. She was asking me, did I miss her? And I said, I was more one with her. I said, sexually? I said, yeah, I miss you. I said, non-sexually? No. And she was like, shut up. You just trying to, irritate me, get under my skin. I said, no, I'm serious. I don't miss you non-sexually. I said, I honestly, I never think about you non-sexually. None of my fondest memories of you have to do with spending time with you in a non-physical, non-sexual manner. And sure enough, man, she started crying, man. She started crying. I felt bad. I didn't mean to, insult her per se, but it's just the truth, man. Again, I would say, like my brother said, it's kind of simultaneously a strength and a weakness of mine, man. Well, really, I'm going to say this. And here I'm going to probably insult some of the members of my own gender. It ain't just that I don't like women around me on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. I don't like other men. If you remember, if people follow me since I first got on YouTube, I said this in one of my first 3 to 5 videos. I said, remember I was talking about just last week about these 2 personality tests I took in grad school, and the results came back that not only do I not like working for people, but I don't like working with people. Part of that is because, this is going to make me sound somewhat antisocial to a degree, but I don't like people around me on a daily basis. That even includes my own brother, and I'm probably closer to my brother than anybody. But I don't like people around me on a daily basis. I really don't. I don't like people. That goes male and female. I do not like people around me, say, for 6+ hours per day, every day of every week of every month. I get irritated. Like if people are around me for too many hours in a day or too many days in a week, I can tell you right now, I will become grouchy. I will become cantankerous. I'll become irritable, and I'll probably end up snapping off on them. And they'll be like, damn, what's wrong with you? What's your problem? I don't like people around me, man, all the time. I like being around people for a certain number of hours and a certain number of days. I say at most maybe 2 to 3 days a week, at most maybe 4 days a week. But you're talking about 7 days a week for 6+ hours a day, 7 days a week of every month of every year? Oh, fuck no. I don't want people around me like that. I don't. And I know that for some people, they're like, damn, that's kind of fucked up. Allie, you sound like you're a little bit antisocial. I don't want people around me like that. And again, I said that when I first got on YouTube. I don't like people around me like that, man. I like my own company, man. I'm a person who, at least 2/3 of the time, I enjoy my own company. Like, I went on a 10-day cruise over the holidays by myself. Now, originally, I was going to be going with a woman, but I ended up going on a 10-day cruise by myself, man. Yeah, I was on a cruise by myself. A lot of traveling I do is by myself. I don't go, like, with women a lot of times. And a lot of times, I don't go with other men. I go by myself. I don't like people around me, man, daily, man. I get irritated. I get irritated when people are around me for multiple hours a day, every day. Matter of fact, the last time I've been in that situation was right before my mother died. My mother died in early December 2007. She was the last person I had, like, as a roommate. Now, when I lived in Los Angeles, I always had a roommate. That's the one time I never lived by myself was when I lived in Los Angeles. My 6.5 years in Los Angeles, I always had at least one roommate. And half the time it drove me crazy too. It drove me crazy, man. Now, when I was younger, I did. Like, when I was in my high school days, my 20s, I would say most of my 30s, I did enjoy being around people. Particularly like my frat brothers, my close male friends. Not so much women, but definitely as far as do with men, when I was younger. But see, now that I'm older, most of my closest male friends are married. They got wives and families. Like my brother, he's married. I don't want to be around my friends and their wife. Or my friends and their girlfriend or significant other. Anyway, enough about that. But yeah, that's when men enjoy being single. Men can be single indefinitely if they have no strong desire to start a family or raise children, if their sexual needs are being met on a regular or at least a semi-regular basis, and they have no strong desire for a woman's non-sexual companionship. On the flip side, a man is going to always want a significant other in these situations. When he wants to start and raise a family, be number one. When he wants to start and raise a family, a man is going to want a romantic companion or a wife. When a man enjoys women's non-sexual companionship just as much, if not more, than their sexual companionship, he's going to want a significant other. Number three is if he feels like that's the only way he can have regular or semi-regular sex as opposed to being single, he's going to want to have a significant other. And the final reason is to protect that woman, prevent that woman from having sex with other men. And that relates to some of the stuff I talked about in my Patreon exclusive portion yesterday. Yeah, if a man meets a woman that he develops a strong emotional bond with to the point where he doesn't want other men to fuck that woman or even try to fuck that woman, he's going to want to monopolize both her sexual and non-sexual companionship. And I'm going to touch on that in today's Patreon portion. Now, going to women. When are women content with being? Women, generally speaking, are less content with being single than men are. If you notice, on average, the number of people who tend to complain about being single a lot are women. Men every so often, but women a lot of times will complain about being single. I would say there's exceptions on both sides, but generally speaking, women have a much harder time remaining single for a long period of time than a man does. Here's why. Well, first I'll start off talking about when a woman can be single and when she can't. Here's when a woman can be single. Is if she either doesn't want children or feels like she can raise children by herself. If she either doesn't want children or feels like she can raise children by herself, she'll be content with being single. Number two, if she has one or more platonic male friends that are giving her a boatload of non-sexual attention and companionship. She got one or more purely platonic male friends that are giving her a boatload of non-sexual attention and companionship. She'll be content with being single. Number three is when, wait, I forgot my own stuff now. What did I say for women? Oh, number 3 is when a woman is making her own money. She doesn't need a man in her life to provide for her financially. She can buy her own clothes, pay her own bills. She really doesn't need a man for financial purposes or materialistic possession purposes. That's the third most time a woman's going to be content with being single. When is a woman not going to be content with being single? Not going to be content with being single. Number 1, when she wants to raise children in a 2-parent home. Number 1, when she wants to raise children in a 2-parent home. Number 2, when she feels like she's getting older. When she feels like she's getting 30 years of age or older, or even more so, 36 years of age or older, and she feels like her looks are beginning to fade and her sex appeal is beginning to diminish. She's going to develop a strong desire. In other words, put in more simple terms, as a woman knows she's moving closer to what's known as the wall, which is that point. The wall is that point when a woman's looks have damn near completely faded out. The appeal of her physical attractiveness has completely faded out, and her sex appeal has almost diminished to the point of 0. That means a woman has hit the wall. She's hit the wall. Most women are going to want to snatch up a man before they hit the wall. Most women are going to want to snatch up a man before they hit the wall. Believe that. Remember I did a video where I said, when women ask, do you love me? Most of the time when women say, do you love me? Do you love me? What they're really saying is, do you care about me enough to sacrifice trying to hook up with women who are younger than me, more attractive than me, and sexier than me? That's what they're really asking when they keep, if a woman, like if you're in a relationship, a woman keeps asking you over and over again, do you love me? What she's really saying is, I know my looks have began to fade. I know my sex appeal has began to diminish. Am I still enough for you to prevent you from dumping me for a woman that's younger than me, more attractive than me, and sexier than me? That's what she's really asking if a woman repeatedly asks you, do you love me? So that's the number 2 time when a woman is going to want to be in a relationship. When she feels like her looks are beginning to fade and her sex appeal is beginning to diminish. 3rd time a woman's going to want to be in a relationship. If she knows that she has somewhat of a reputation for being, to one degree or another, promiscuous. She knows she's, to one degree or another, has a reputation for being promiscuous or at least semi-promiscuous. And she wants to show her family, friends, and social acquaintances that she can find one man who values her non-sexual companionship just as much, if not more, than her sexual companion. That's why a lot of women like to get married, man. That's what marriage, I've mentioned that before. That's what marriage does for women. It shows a woman's social circle that she has found at least one man that values her non-sexual companionship just as much, if not more, than her sexual. That's very important for women. That's very important for women, man. That's very important for women. And the final thing that's going to compel a woman to want to get in a relationship or get married is so they can monopolize a man's non-sexual attention and companionship. Monopolize it, not just receive it, but monopolize it. And monopolize access to his financial resources and material possessions. In other words, they don't want that man sharing his non-sexual companionship with other women. They don't want that man sharing access to his financial resources and material possessions with other women. They want to monopolize it. That's when women are going to want to be in a relationship. So those are the reasons why men will be content with remaining single and why men will not be content with remaining single, and the reasons why women will be content with remaining single and not be content with remaining single, at least according to your favorite dating coach, Alan Roger Currie. Now, the Patreon exclusive portion, one thing I'm going to talk about is this, man. Sometimes you men, man, have a bad habit of lying to yourself. Now, pointed this out at least on 2 or 3 videos before, I think last year. One thing I always hear men repeatedly say in social media, here on YouTube, and just in life in general, men will always make this comment, well, you know, women are far more emotional than men are. You know, women are far more emotional than men are. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I just had a client text me a couple days ago. He was in a long-term relationship and his girlfriend broke up with him and he's torn up about it. He's torn up about it. He's torn up about it. Do you know studies have shown statistically, do you know more men commit suicide over a failed marriage and a failed long-term relationship than women do? That's a statistical fact. Men commit suicide more frequently over a failed marriage or a failed long-term relationship than women do. Men are more likely to commit murder. Yes, men are more likely to murder a woman because she divorced him or broke up with him than a woman is to do the same with a man. Who's more emotional? Don't fool yourselves, man. That's bullshit if you want to believe that women are more emotional than men. Men love having, many men, not all men, but many men love having a strong emotional attachment to a woman. And I'm going to go into more detail about that in my Patreon exclusive portion. Yeah, man. Men need to quit telling themselves that lie, man. That's a lie. It's a flat out lie for a man to say that women are more emotional. And here's where I would halfway agree with that. When it comes to just arguing about shit, like arguing about something trivial, that's when I would agree with that assessment. Women tend to be more emotional about trivial issues and trivial arguments than men are. That's what I would agree with. Women are more, generally speaking, tend to be more emotional about trivial issues and trivial arguments than men are. So in that regard, I would agree with the assessment that women are more emotional than men. Is when it comes to stuff that us men tend to look at as trivial. For example, I give a real simple example. I've seen women cry over their favorite soap opera star dying or getting a divorce. You ain't gonna find no man crying because, number one, most men don't even watch soap operas. And in the rare instances that they do, ain't no man gonna be crying because his favorite TV show character got a divorce. That just ain't gonna happen with no man, exceptions aside. But women will cry over shit like that. Or to do with an argument. Women might cry because get real emotional and angry if you're like show up 20 minutes late for dinner. Women might just start going off. Whereas a man will be like, damn, what's the big deal? Yeah, I was 20 minutes late. So what? Well, calm down. Why are you getting so upset and shit? So when it comes to what I call trivial issues and trivial arguments, in that regard, I would say women are, generally speaking, more emotional than men. But when it comes to bigger issues such as divorce, a woman initiating a divorce, a woman breaking up with you if you're not married, a woman wanting to gain exclusive custody over your children, shit. I dare any man to say that women are more emotional than men. In those 3 areas, I dare any man to say women are more emotional than men. Again, statistics have already proven, man. Do you know more men, according to studies, men are more likely to commit suicide because of a failed marriage or a failed long-term romantic relationship. And along with that, men are more likely to murder an ex-wife or a former fiance or ex-girlfriend it is than a woman is to murder an ex-husband, an ex-fiance, or ex-boyfriend of theirs. A lot of men, man, I've seen some of my own close friends, man, be just literally just torn up emotionally when their wife initiated a divorce with them or when their girlfriend broke up with them. I've seen women date a guy for like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and less than 6 months later, they were dating another guy. They were dating another guy. You rarely see men do that. Yeah, man. Men, here's one of the reasons why, man. I did this article. And if you remember, I did an article in the Negro Manosphere. I'll try to find it and post it. But I interviewed this woman who was a dominatrix. She was a dominatrix, a BDSM dominatrix. And she said something interesting. She said, we were kind of getting into this lighthearted debate. She said, because I told her I was a professional dominator, which is the male equivalent to a dominatrix. Yeah, for those of you who didn't know that. Yeah, I'm actually what's known as a BDSM professional dominator. When you're a professional dominator, that's the male equivalent to a woman being a dominatrix. So basically, me and her do the same thing. Anytime you get paid to dominate members of the opposite sex, that means you're a professional at it. So for a man, they call it, if you're a man and women pay you money to dominate them, that means you're a professional dominator. If you're a woman and men pay you to dominate them, that means you're a dominatrix. And this dominatrix, we got into this later on debate because she said, Alan, I bet you, because she mentioned that she had both male and female clients. And whereas I only have female clients when it comes to that thing. I mean, I would never want to dominate no man. But she said, I bet you I could get more women to pay me to dominate them than you could. And I said, you think? And she said, yeah. She said, I'm going to tell you why. Because from the time boys and girls are children, women, just like boys, girls, just like boys, tend to be very close to their mother. She said, on average, you'll find that a boy is much closer to his mother than the average girl is to her father. That's not to say that girls don't love their fathers, but generally speaking, girls are going to be closer to their mother than they will their father, because their mother was the primary one who nurtured them, And this relates to Dr. Sigmund Freud's Madonna horror complex. You know, I mentioned that in at least 3 of my books. Yeah, there's at least 3 of my books I mentioned Dr. Sigmund Freud's assertion of the Madonna horror complex. I mentioned that in The Possibility of, Who Said Again, The Possibility of Sex, and The Beta Male Revolution. I mentioned all 3 of those books. Who Said Again, The Possibility of Sex, and The Beta Male Revolution. I mentioned, for those who are ignorant to it, Dr. Sigmund Freud, who was a legendary psychologist in the 19th century and very, very, very early 20th century, he asserted that men typically have a dual mating strategy. That men tend to have a dual mating strategy. He said they always going to want one woman to be their personal good girl, to be their personal, strictly monogamous good girl. That's the woman who they're usually going to date in a long-term relationship and eventually marry. Then they want another woman. Hey, if you hear noise in the background, they doing the lawn work outside. They doing lawn work outside. He said, then they're going to want at least one other woman that they're going to want to be just really kinky, really freaky, really slutty. Really kinky, really freaky, really slutty. That's their whore. And that's where it comes from, the Madonna whore. The Madonna is a, oh, yeah, they loud, man. So excuse me if you hear noise. They cutting grass and doing whatever else outside. But yeah, man, most men want they want at least one good girl in their life, and they want one or more kinky, promiscuous sluts in their life. And again, this relates to, it all boils down to a man's relationship with his mother. Men spend a minimum of usually 16, 17, 18 years with their mother, man, in most cultures. Now, some cultures, they don't. There's some cultures, actually, where once a boy gets to the age of 8, 9, or 10, the father exclusively takes control of the boy. There's at least a handful of cultures in the world where once a boy reaches the age of 8, 9, or 10, the mother no longer has any influence over the boy. It's just the father, which I think is probably a good idea. But in most cultures and countries, including the United States, most men are going to be close to their mother from the time they're born to the time they're roughly 15, 16, 17, 18. So they become used to that nurturing. And if you read my book or you got the audiobook version of Beta Male Revolution, there's a chapter where I talk about that. I said most men who have a really, really close relationship with their mother and love that they were nurtured by their mother, those are men who are going to be the most likely to become beta males as opposed to alpha males. They're going to be the most likely to become beta males because they love that nurturing. Basically, a lot of men, when they want to get married, they want to marry a woman who is a faithfully monogamous sex partner and a second mother. A faithfully monogamous sex partner and a second mother or a second big sister. If they're significantly older than their wife, they're going to want a woman who's a faithfully monogamous sex partner and a surrogate daughter. If they're older, they're going to want a faithfully monogamous sex partner and a surrogate daughter. That's how men are. Because that's the two most women that men don't want to see be promiscuous, on average. There's exceptions. But you'll find most men, I think I'll talk about this also in the Beta Male Revolution, most men do not want to see their mother or stepmother be promiscuous, and they don't want to see their daughters be promiscuous. If I add that on one more, in some cases, their sisters. But some guys I know, they don't care about their sisters. But their mothers or stepmothers and their daughters. The average man does not want their mother or stepmother to be promiscuous, and they don't want their daughters to be promiscuous. They want them to be good girls. That's why in my book, Who Said Again, there's a chapter I talk about men's sexual hypocrisy. If you remember, there's a chapter, I think it's chapter 3 or chapter 4, I talk about that. How men are sexual hypocrites. Because a lot of men, they'll want to fuck somebody else's mother, sister, daughter, or niece, but they usually don't want another man to fuck their mother, stepmother, daughter, sister, or niece outside the context of marriage or outside the context of a long-term relationship. Men are very hypocritical in that regard. But yeah, men, because they're used to that relationship with their mother or stepmother, or in some cases maybe an aunt or big sister, they become used to that, man, and they want more of that in a relationship, so they become more emotional. You'll find on average, if a man had a dysfunctional relationship with his mother or stepmother, he ain't gonna really have no strong desire to be nurtured by a woman. He ain't gonna really have no strong desire to be nurtured by a woman. He could care less. At minimum, he's gonna be indifferent towards that. He's gonna be indifferent towards that. But yeah, men become very emotional. That's why a lot of men, I should say, that's why a lot of men want to own pussy. That's one of the reasons why a lot of men want to own pussy. Because they know that men get emotionally attached to pussy. You know, again, I hear a lot of men that'll try to suggest that it's women who get emotionally attached to dick. And a lot of times they do. But shit, I know a lot of men who become emotionally attached to pussy. Believe that shit. Believe that shit. A lot of men become emotionally attached to pussy. Men are very territorial when it comes to pussy. Men are very territorial when it comes to pussy. A lot of times to their detriment. And I talked about that in yesterday's Patreon. A lot of times, honestly, to their detriment, they become territorial when it comes to pussy, man. Because the reality is, man, the day and age we're living in now, women are going to fuck whoever they want to fuck. I'm just going to keep it real, dude. Women are going to fuck whoever they want to fuck. If a woman really wants to fuck another guy, I don't care if she's married. I don't care if she's engaged to be married. I don't care if she got a long-term boyfriend. If she really, really, really wants to fuck another guy, she going to find a way to fuck him. I know, trust me, I know from experience. Women going to find a way to fuck him. Y'all know some of my stories, man. I had a woman suck my dick with her husband upstairs making dinner. I had another woman, biracial woman, I used to fuck in California. Her husband, she was separated from the time. She wasn't actually still married. She was separated from the time, but they were in the process of reconciliating. But her husband was like basically like a mobster. He was like a mafia-style mobster type. And she flat out told me, she said, Alan, if my husband was to find out me and you was fucking, he would kill both of us. And she didn't say it lightheartedly. She said he would kill both of us. What does that tell you? This woman was willing to risk her life to get some dick from me, man. She was willing to put her life at risk to get some dick from me. To get some dick other than her husband's dick. What does that tell you, man, if a woman's willing to put her life at risk, and along with it, my life at risk, to get some dick? That just shows you that women will fuck if they really, really, really meet a guy who they really want to fuck, other than their husband, other than their fiance, other than their boyfriend, they're going to find a way to fuck him. They're going to find a way to fuck him. But yeah, so get out of this misguided belief. I think a lot of you guys tell yourself that to make yourself feel better. That's what the guy who wrote the book that I love, Daniel Bergner, who wrote What Do Women Want? He talks about that a lot in his book. He basically says a lot of men tell themselves things to make themselves feel better and to make themselves sleep better at night, even though it's not true. Like a lot of men will say women are born with strictly monogamous proclivities. That's bullshit. I've covered that a number of times. And along with that, a lot of men will say, well, women are more emotional when it comes to relationships and sex than men are. That's bullshit, man. A lot of you men get emotionally attached to pussy, and it's because a lot of it has to do with your relationship with your mother, stepmother, or big sister or aunt. You had some older woman that nurtured you, and you like being nurtured. And the second aspect or factor involved is that men are just naturally territorial. Men are territorial when it comes to pussy, man. Men are territorial when it comes to pussy. Most men don't like to share pussy, man. They want to own pussy. So, here's the thing I'll leave you with. Whenever you enter into a long-term relationship with a woman or a marriage with a woman, you're putting your emotions at risk. I've talked about that before. You're putting your emotions at risk. You're never going to be able to indefinitely guard your emotions when you're in a relationship or marriage with a woman that you're really attracted to and you really care for. You're just not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to do it. Don't even try. You're going to put your heart at risk. Be prepared for that risk. Alan Roger Currie, I'm out.